I'm life and business coach Samantha, and this is the Online Business Building Mamas podcast, where you learn how to build a wildly successful business from home while raising kids. Welcome to another episode of the Badass Mother podcast. I am really excited for today's episode with you because this is one I hear a lot. I know what I need to do. I just need to do it. Raise your hand if you are guilty of that one. I think that we probably all are. It sounds so legit, right? You're like, yeah, that's definitely real. I believe that. I believe myself. Girlfriend, I'm on to you. This is false. You may know the action steps, but you don't know how to get yourself to do them, so you truly do not know what you need to do. Instead, you're stuck in this place where you're beating yourself up for not doing it. You are wasting all of that energy on judging yourself instead of actually doing it. Yes, this is another time-wasting technique to keep you in your comfort zone. So, what are you going to do about it? How do you get yourself into action? First, I think it's really important to figure out why you aren't in action right now. You need to go deeper than this story that you're lazy, which is total BS. I have a couple journal exercises for you. Ask yourself, how am I holding myself back right now? What advice does the future me have for me? And imagine that future me as the you who has achieved the goal that you want to achieve. And finally, what am I afraid of? That can reveal a lot about why you are not doing what you want to be doing. Here are a few reasons why you're not doing it. You're waiting for motivation or inspiration to show up. Here's the truth about motivation and inspiration. They typically show up once you've already started to take action, sometimes once the action has already paid off. So they are really not reliable when you are trying to figure out, how am I going to take action? Like, how am I going to get myself to start making moves on this thing? And what's weird is a lot of us feel like we need to be motivated before we can take actions. We're like, I just haven't been motivated. When really, motivation is not going to be the thing that gets you started most of the time. Like, sometimes it's there and that's amazing. Like, that's really great, but usually it is not there. Usually it is nowhere to be found. And you have to tap into your commitment and your desire to create the thing that you want to create or achieve the goal that you've set for yourself. The commitment to that goal and to yourself is really the emotion that gets you into action. You might also be telling yourself that you aren't going to follow through. I see this sometimes with my clients where they're like, yeah, I just really don't think that I'm going to do it. And I'm like, okay, then I'm 100% sure you're not going to do it until we address this particular thing. Because we are amazing at meeting our own expectations. We absolutely love to follow through on what we expect of ourselves. So if we're expecting like nothing from yourself, then you're going to do nothing. It is basically a self-fulfilling prophecy that you have set up. And it's because you're telling yourself this is going to happen. So then you think to yourself, great, I don't have to rise beyond this. I don't have to do anything. Like, I know exactly what I have to do, and it's do nothing. It's not follow through on this thing. So when you find yourself doubting if you're going to follow through or not, or thinking like, I'm probably not going to follow through, these should be red flags for you that you are setting yourself up to fail. The next reason that you might not be doing it is because you're spending all your time beating yourself up. This uses a lot of time and energy and also makes you feel really discouraged. And I already said before, motivation and inspiration may not be around, but trying to take action from feeling discouraged and defeated does not work either. You truly need to be in a place where you're willing to take action. You're committed to creating what you want to create and the goal that you want to achieve. These are so much more powerful emotions and places to be taking action from than this defeated place. I want you to imagine that somebody else was criticizing you a lot. Like, say that you're trying to build your business and your partner or a parent or a sibling or a really close friend, like somebody very close to you, was telling you, you can't do that. You've never done that before. Why do you think you're going to do that? Why haven't you taken action on that yet? See, that's just proof you're never going to do that. Like, what if they were beating you up verbally about whatever it was? Like, you would, first of all, not feel great about them, but you'd also feel like crap and you would not be moving forward in any way. This is absolutely the same with yourself. We kind of have this idea that if we are really tough on ourselves, if we're really mean to ourselves, then that's going to motivate us into action, and it just doesn't work. I guarantee to you that you have proven to yourself that it doesn't work, and you may still believe that it is a useful type of way to get into action. I promise you, it is not. Another reason you might not be doing it, you aren't valuing yourself enough to prioritize your own goals and dreams. I see this one a lot, especially with us moms, where everything else takes precedence over our goals and dreams. Everybody else's stuff, all of the cupcakes that you have to bake to take into school, and the PTA meetings, and cleaning the soccer uniforms, and helping your child with their school project. All of these things pop up and take importance bigger than your own goals, and it can feel really valid. It can feel like, well, of course I have to pack the school lunches instead of recording my podcast episode or something like that. And this is a way that you are holding yourself back because you're not valuing yourself enough to prioritize your own goals. I am busy. My clients are busy. We all have a lot of priorities in our life. But the way that we make our business grow and move forward is making sure our business is one of those priorities. So for me, that looks like asking for help. That looks like expecting more from my kids. That looks like expecting more from my partner, which he's totally happy to do. He cooks dinner most nights for us now. My kids do a lot of their own lunch packing and that kind of thing. They have full responsibility for their homework. I double check with them that it was done, but I don't sit and hover, and I definitely don't do any of their schoolwork. So these types of things, I am prioritizing my own goals, my own business. That's really important to me, and my support system is on board with that. And I then am free to delegate some of the responsibility for their things back to them or ask for help in areas where I need to take something off my plate. There's a lot of ways to make that happen. Sometimes you just have to have the mental shift to actually put your thing on the calendar. Sometimes you need help clearing some space on the calendar. Another reason you might not be doing it, you are afraid. Afraid of what would happen if you put yourself out there. Afraid of what would happen if you put in your full effort and you failed. And afraid of what might happen if you were successful. These are 3 different things that we can be afraid of. Putting ourselves out there to maybe be criticized or rejected. Putting our full effort in and failing and then thinking I'm not good enough. And then finally being successful and whatever might come up with that. All of these fears can really hold us back from being the person that we want to be, from taking the actions that we want to take. These fears can keep us stuck where we are in this cycle of setting goals and not doing them and then beating ourselves up. So if you have one of those fears, hopefully it'll come out in the what am I afraid of journal entry, and then you can start to really tackle what would actually happen. What would I really do? What's the worst case scenario? Sometimes really exploring like, what if my fear came true? What would I do? Can be so empowering because we realize that we can handle it. We can handle whatever comes our way. And maybe, final option, you don't actually want to do it. If this is you, you need to be honest with yourself and you need to find out why. Sometimes it goes up to one of those other reasons. Sometimes you don't want to do it because you're afraid or something like that. But sometimes you truly don't want it. Like sometimes you set this goal because you were in the heat of the moment with somebody else and it seemed like a good idea, or maybe because you think it's what you should want, even though it's not really what you want. The best goals, the goals that are going to make the biggest difference in your life, are the goals that are aligned with the life you actually want to have. So, let's assume you do want to achieve this goal and you just need to get yourself into action. Here are a few tips and hacks to help you get there. I think the very best way is to hire a coach. I think working with a coach is the fast track to getting the success that you want, achieving the goals that you set for yourself, because this person is going to help you navigate your mind. They're going to help you overcome common obstacles. They're going to help you to avoid some of them. It's like they know some of the shortcuts to get where you want to go. So you can just like look at the map and figure it out, or you can have somebody who knows all the shortcuts to help you get there faster with less drama. It can be really life-changing. This is the way that I prefer to get into action. Anytime I find myself not achieving at the level that I want to, I always start working with a one-on-one coach again to help me get over the hump and figure out what's going on. So there's so many different options for working with a coach, but I highly recommend that you check that out. They can also give you some much needed accountability. So there's a lot of ways to get accountability. I think a coach is the very best one because you are paying them. So it can be totally one-sided. You don't have to think about them and their goals at all. They are there for you to be checking in with, to be helping you. But there's other ways to get accountability. Some of these are things that you can do yourself. Some of my clients really love having a calendar or like a sticker chart so they can put stickers as a reward for themselves when they do each task that they were wanting to do. A lot of my clients love to have an accountability partner. So somebody else who is moving towards the same types of goals, you check in with each other on a regular basis on how it's going. That can be really valuable. Another thing that I think is often overlooked is actually scheduling the actions. So maybe you need to really identify what they are. Maybe you need to map out all the steps, but then you put them into your calendar at a specific time on a specific day, and then you make it non-negotiable to show up. And this is a mindset shift where showing up for yourself is no longer optional, but you put it on the calendar and then you show up no matter what, as if it were a doctor's appointment or something like that. You can also set up incentives or consequences for yourself. So if you don't follow through, this will happen. If you do follow through, this will happen. There's lots of different little ideas of what those could potentially be. If you want to explore more ideas along this vein, the book Atomic Habits by James Clear is fantastic. I just bought it for a couple of my clients because I absolutely love it, and I found it to be a really, really helpful book. So check that out for sure. If this is something you struggle with, it is really all about this idea that small steps taken consistently over time grow to really big results. And I think that is a fascinating topic and hopefully one that will inspire you into action. If you want to take this work deeper, I would love to invite you onto a free call with me to explore what is holding you back and how you can move forward. Whether you decide to work with me further or not, you will walk away with a ton of clarity on your next steps. To sign up, go to bit.ly/callsamantha, bit.ly/callsamantha. If you like this podcast, I want to invite you to coach with me over in my program, Mama to CEO. There's you, and there's the consistent income you want to make in your business, and I help you remove everything standing in between. It's lifetime access for mastering your marketing, sales, time, and everything else you need to have the business and life you really want. Whether it's making your first 1,000 or 100,000, I can help you do it. To join, go to mamatoceo.com, mamatoceo.com.